Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you fine folks, whenever you decide to tune in this broadcast. It's the Iron Thunder Racing Network bringing you the Iron Thunder Racing League VRX GT3 series live from Austria at the Red Bull Ring. That is right, folks. Tonight we were overseas. Our drivers had to go get their passports renewed, get them. Went out to come to the first overseas race since I want to say the Premier Series Season 6, when we went over to... where did we go? We went to Twin Ring Motegi. This is the first race overseas since then, this time at the famed Red Bull Ring. Let's go ahead and get the series logo off the track, and we'll go ahead and take a quick look at your track facts real quick. The Red Bull Ring is where we're at. It's in Spielberg, Austria, opened in 1969, closed in 2004. But reopened about 7-8 years later. It's about a 3-mile track with 9 turns. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at your track layout for tonight. iRacing.com provided us with this wonderful track layout. We're going to call a couple different corners here differently tonight. We're going to have a tomato corner. I kind of know this here, but it's a 10-turn track according to this wonderful track map we got from iRacing.com. We got a couple of sharp turns here, especially turns 3, turns 4. Big area of concern will be coming up in 9-10. Trying not to get those off track, getting those corner cuts. That could lead to potential issues there. Real quick, before we go ahead and get into our national anthem tonight, let's take a look at your points. As we're going to have a very potential interesting point shakeup here. Coming off last week's race at the... We're at Laguna Seca last week. WeatherTech race by Laguna Seca. Eric Traposo has a pointless lead, 4 points, but that's going to widen out as Luke Carbonneau is not here this week. This is a scheduled race he's going to miss, and it's a big deal to miss this race, as it is a double points event tonight. So it gives opportunity for Oliver, for Brandon, Pamtat, for Brandon Kaluster, who's Kevin Hash right now, or gives an opportunity for those guys to close in on points, and gives some opportunities for guys who haven't scored points 14th on back. That gives an opportunity for Chris Gale, Ron Bush to score some points here. With that being said, we gotta go ahead and get our national anthems out of the way. We'll first hear the Canadian national anthem, and then we'll hear Chris Stapleton's beautiful rendition of the American national anthem. We'll come right back, talk about your starting lineup, and get you ready for tonight's 2-hour event.
twilight that's gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly standing, and the rockets regular of Mossberg singing a gay through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Alright, with about 2.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying, give or take, there could be an extra minute or so, depending on if there's any cars left on track at the time of that checkered flag being waved there. Get your lap started before the end of the session. Your lap time will count. But right now, looking at the top of your leaderboard, it happens to be the 97 machine of Eric Drapeau. Prince points, so you're currently at about 300 of a second. Out of your Turcoat, his fast time here being so far in the session, a 1:30. 1 minute 30 seconds. 1 minute 30 seconds. 0.761. That was a lap time to beat here for Mr. Eric. It has it about 300ths of a second over Oliver. There's only one driver who's not been able to really complete a lap time. In the Porsche, Jason Rotterbush. It's not been able to cross the line yet tonight. This last year at the Red Bull Ring. Paul Smith in a Ferrari No, he's not in the Ferrari. He's in the BMW, actually. My bad. I didn't even know the owned correct here. Paul Smith did get a lap time. He's currently 11th quickest, about 3 seconds off. Could make about half a second of main position. Right now, looking at everything, there would be one driver who would not be scoring points tonight. If things were to play out, should. Let's also take a look here. Chris Gale, he's within 6 tenths of a second of the fastest lap, the original full lap right now, set by Poe. Kevin Hash currently has himself inside the top 5 in his Mercedes. 4 tenths of a second off, about 600ths of a second off of Brandon Habitat in his BMW. Wait a second. He's in a BMW. Pink's Audi. I'll get this right. I know who they are. So you should be seeing the checker flag on your screen right now. And again, anyone who's on track currently who's able to get to the start finish line, start their lap, complete their lap, and see if it gets down counted as the time of record. Taking a look real quick. I think I need to reload my time screen. Let me reload my timing screen real quick. I gotta change the camera. That's Eric Chapeau currently driving through pit road. Kevin Hash currently on track. Going through turn 10 right now, seeing his lap time. And looks like here, let's see. No, it does not look like it counted. Comes across the screen as nothing. Minute left here. I'm going to go ahead and reload my graphics. See if this works. My whole thing's just being buggy. So let's reload this real quick. Shouldn't take long. There, we got that up and loaded. Just let me paste this in real quick. Oh, that's a link. Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, all right. Let's actually go ahead and get the starting lineup on your screen. Here is your starting lineup for tonight. 12 cars for the cars that were signed up for tonight. Eric Chapeau is going to be on the front row in his BMW. You'll be seeing Oliver Turco in the Ferrari on the outside. Row number 2, we'll see Brandon Pamitat in his BMW and the first of 4 Mercedes AMG GT3 2020s in the field of Kevin Hash. Brian Klusterhus and Chris Gale, the teammates out of Shoulder Boys Racing, will take up row number 3. Row number 4, we'll see Ray Rittenauer and Dylan Hill, but Dylan Hill will not be making a start tonight. He is our race admin. So we'll see 10th and 12th move up a spot here tonight. Row number 5 will technically be Matt Klusterhus and Andy Kosalova. And row number 6 will see Paul Smith and Jason Roundbush. Roundbush doesn't, I do not believe, they get a lap time completed in qualifying. That is our starting lineup. Let's go ahead and information up there. We're at the Red Bull Ring. It's a 2-hour event tonight. Double points for the folks here tonight. The top 10 will see double points. Normally we see about 25 points for first place, but instead we'll see 50 points given to the race winner tonight. 10th place will see 2 points. First double event, the only double event since it's double the race link. Having these drivers go out here in 52 hours instead of the usual one where we'll see for the last 4 races of the year. We're at the halfway point. That was also mentioned in the pre-race driver meeting for these folks here tonight. We're halfway. We've made it halfway through the inaugural GT3 series here. Round of applause to the guys who kept coming out for this event. Drivers. Would have been 12 of our points leader. Luke Carbonell was here, but he had to take the week off. He had prior commitments, which happens real life before anything when it comes to sim racing. But the iRacing.com pace car, sorry, you're going to make that hard right-hand turn down pit road. They're going to come through turn number 10 as they wait here, crossing that DRS line. It does not matter in these cars. They're going to come down to Barney the flag man. And the green flag's in the air. We're off for race number 4. Looked like Ryan Klisterhuis was trying to stick his nose in there early here for the battle for 4th. Didn't look like it amounted for much. We'll see what happens here coming into the hairpin turn. Oh, look at Rittenauer. Rittenauer is going to go ahead and try to make the pass here on Klisterhuis. Rittenauer makes the pass on Matt Klisterhuis, and that was a very interesting, I guess, first hairpin turn. Potential passing turn for dive bombs. Another one here coming into this hard right here. The camera's quiet, but you can adjust it. Rittenauer was able to complete the pass on Klisterhuis, now sets his eyes on that 44 machine of Chris Gill, another Mercedes AMG driver that's named right out of the camp. Now there is a potential, I do have to say there's potential, that we might be seeing, oh, we have trouble! Casalova around! First major incident. It also says Paul Smith's around, but he's not. Let's watch this again. I want to be on Casalova. Looks like he's just trying to carry a lot of speed into that S's, and it just doesn't work out for him. Hard braking. It's a hard. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's a braking S. So you have to get slowed down so you can make it. He just goes around on him. Potentially made some contact though with Paul Smith. That's why we see potential issues with Paul Smith. But Brandon Pamatak coming in here to the hairpin. We had a different point on the track. Hairpin, and we got more Rouch. MSAG and Rouch. Oh, there's Rouch. That makes sense. Rouch. Happy day. Happy day. That's better. Happy. Pamatak looks to be dropping back about 3/5 of a second off here. Turd coat. All trailing Eric Depot here early running in this race. These drivers do have potential to make at least, I'd say they at least usually make about 1-2 stops per race. So we'll see anywhere between 3 and 4 stops here tonight. As Jason Rodenbush has an issue. Turco's closing in on Depot. He's there in the draft, closing in. He's really doing much for him. Let's take a quick look at it and see what happened to Rodenbush. Oh, he just runs wide. He gives that that sand over there, that sand trap, a little bit of well, gives the grass patch a little bit of love. No real damage to the machine. Able to keep it straight, keep it going. back on track. But the battle can actually be heating up here early on up front. You usually see one of these SFTV cars pull away, but that's not the one that's really pulling away. Close distance early on. Total leading Turco and Pamitat. If we get a race, and I think potentially even for fourth and fifth to close this. I draft the prevalent thing in the world of racing. I don't know how prevalent it is. It does look like Turco gets a better run through there. Then Turco Habitat is able to widen the gap just a tiny bit. Now, turn number 10, coming back down the front straightaway to complete his. It's the third lap of the race, starting lap number 4. First time for anyone here in the Iron Thunder Racing League to be racing at the Red Bull Ring is a fashion envelope. Well, on most road series, the Ferraris go here, the Porsche goes here, the official GT3 series goes here, F4. I think maybe the Formula 1 cars that no one races goes here. A lot of cars do go to this track. There's a well-known track on service. It's not the first time, really. Some of these drivers might potentially see this track. Also, I know that it's in the F1 games. Been these probably since Austrian. Sorry. A lot of drivers potentially have laps in other racing game sims. Us. Looks like Klusterhuis is closing in on Kevin Hash here. Out front, things seem to be settling out. Drivers might be experiencing a two-word phrase that no one wants to hear, dirty air. Things might be stalling out, but it looks like Klusterhuis is closing in on Kevin Hash for fourth, gets a better run through turn 9, off at turn 10. In that draft, getting a nice little suck off the back of that 03 machine of Hash. A situation where it was lap 1, turn 1, where Klusterhuis had an opportunity to potentially stick his nose in there. Anyway. Right now it's going to sit here and ride in place. Right down the middle corner, or turn 3. Here. Through there, but doesn't really close much of a distance there. That's pretty much a settle there. Current gap he's at. Hard right-hander here with a little bit of a sweeping. And it looks like Klusterhuis loses a little bit of ground there. To Hash, who's also in a Mercedes now. Back out front, these three are still within about a second of each other. And about a second is the gap between first and third. Looks like the code does close the distance here through the last sector of the track, coming here through turn 9, turn 10. And this is a potential area where it can get interesting if you run it just wrong. Not only receive a 1x, but you also receive a time penalty. A time penalty which will slow you down after skipping up on the track. Usually not the preferred thing when you come out here and do road racing that time penalty. You usually can make or break and run on the track. But Pamitat's in a pretty good distance here coming through turn 2, corner, turn 3. By the way, these three have pulled away, trying to using the draft off each other, the dirty air. They can't really make a pass on each other. Pull about 4 seconds onto the next to the car. Hash. Scale has also moved in here, so we have 3-car and another 3-car breakaway. Hash, Klusterhuis, Scale, Rittenauer is also within doubt distance of these three. contents pretty much all over the back bumper at Turco. These two did have a little bit of a contact made earlier this year. Race number 2 at Sebring. Came with that overran a corner. Made contact with Turco. Turco. No, it was Cabernet. I made a mistake. It was Cabernet. We'll track that statement. That part of the bod. Yes, watching later is no longer there. You know why? But Chappelle is able to pull the gap here about 7/10 of a second. It's going to be probably a pretty close bout, not only here in P2, but with Klusterhuis in P4. Klusterhuis going to see if he can take a run, try to dive into turn number 1. Nope, he's going to go ahead and settle there and say, still have an hour and 50 minutes of racing. Let's not damage our car to see. As Costelloa has issues apparently. He's off the course. Oh, the same spot he had issues earlier. Oh, it's just under braking. It's on the brakes and it just upsets the car. Doesn't go around this time. It's able to keep it going straight without spinning the car around. Not having a good start. There's at least 2 X's there. 3 total probably off the load. Poe is widening his lead out over these two as Pampercat looks on the outside here. Inside, depending on what part of the track you want to talk about here. Of Turcoat. Trying to see if he can see something, maybe a little bit clean air to take advantage of the run he does. Turn number 9. It turns 10. Now to see if we can set it up again for turn number 1. Nothing really happening there. This time for Pamitat's going to have to try to set this up again. See if he can get another potential run like he had there last time through the S's. Something happened to Klusterhuis. I'm wondering if Klusterhuis may have gotten a time penalty. What happened for him to following Hash? I think he's just trying to save it from running wide there. There's an opportunity for Gale to get around. Now he's back all over Gale here. See if he can get the number position 5 back. These two want to continue to race side by side. The gap in front of them is going to start to... And the gap behind him is also going to just come up and disappear. Through turn 10, coming back up the front stretch here. Do the start and finish. Each of these gyros complete in lap number 9. Sorry, lap number 8 to start lap number 9. 13 minutes into tonight's event. Oh, we have trouble! We have contact! We have problems! Turn number 1, the Shoulder Boys Racing Machines go around. Yikes. Let's see what happened. Was it contact? Let's just go ahead and far chase these guys real quick. See what happened in turn number 1. Oh, Brandon. I don't know if they've only followed each other into turn number 1 once. Brandon probably has a little bit later braking point, following Hash. He just slightly gets in the back. Gil looks like he had a little bit slower turn 1. And it just causes them to go around. You see Brandon like there. Then something happens to Gil to cause him to go around. One more time. Let's watch it here. one contact and another one to send him around. I don't think Gale got any nose damage here. I was able to actually get it stopped sliding through the grass there. Something you like to see. Usually the grass in iRacing usually means you're going for a slide for a while, you're not getting this machine to stop. That's trouble, but that trouble is an opportunity for Matt Klisterhuis, who had a little bit of an interesting start, to get back up to P6 here. Back where actually get further ahead of where he started. If I was able to go down here and listen to this, I say, I'm not going to, because they're probably having a little bit of a heated discussion, seeing what happened to shoulder boy racing drivers. The gap between second and third has increased, but the gap between first and second has dwindled just a tiny bit, just a skosh. Turcoat looks like was able to close the gap just a tiny bit under post, potentially saving his tires just a little bit better, try to make a late run here at the end of this one. Potentially talking, I could be wrong, I don't have the actual full numbers here, but could potentially be talking about some pit stops here. Shortly. Anywhere between the next 4 or 5 laps, I have to say. But Turcoat gets really close there in turn 3 in the tomato corner. How close he gets here coming into turn number 4. Happy. Hard on the brakes. Looks like he was able to drive a little bit further into Poe, which Poe's able to get a better run off to extend that gap. But these two being within about half a second is able to help increase the P3. Oh no. Oh no, trouble! Hammer tackles for a slide, turn 10. Let's see what happened here to Pamatat. I wish my timing screen actually goes to Pamatat. Oh, it's hard on the brakes there. It looks like he might have hit the yellow turtle down there in turn 9. I don't know, it just looks like maybe carrying too much speed, maybe he's noticed he was going to go off track there. That sends him around. I don't know what the swerving there is, but we're going to keep following just in case there's more to it. Doesn't look to be. Chris Gill did have issues. Oh, he ran her wide. Oh, and it's going to be contact hard into the wall. And I think he might have said, yeah, time to just tow. And he towed. He's currently sitting on pit road. Probably going to take that quick fix for him. See if he's able to get back out there and try to, gain a spot to get himself some points. If we take a look at the points real quick. Into tonight after round number 3. Chris Scale, who's made all 3 starts this season, is one of the only drivers who doesn't have, with 3 starts, who does not have points. He's really, had some tough instances on the racetrack. He's gone around, had damage to the car. This is probably the closest Turcoat's been in a while coming through turn 3. tomato corner. He's gonna get really close there this time, but it doesn't really have much to do with it. Needs to really be more, I guess, side-by-side action. Enter into turn 3. He's gonna potentially have another opportunity here going into turn number 4 here. Happy day. Rouch. That gap's going to increase for the pro. Bringing Klusterhus, stick it back around Matt Klusterhus, so he's been able to rebound back to 6 after his. A little bit of a running in there with Chris Scale. But again, we're approaching that pit window. Usually, about the same distance tracks, you know, at Daytona and then at Sebring, is around. Oh, Booster Goose. Grass there. It's fine. We'll be able to keep it going straight. But usually around that 14 lap mark, that 15 lap mark into a run, you usually see guys start to peel off, start to get fuel. About that half hour. 25-minute mark, we usually see drivers say, you know, yep, it's time to come down pit road. Also have that inner debate with themselves about if they need to pit for tires. But Jason Roundbush has some issues. This is turn 3, tomato corn. Oh, he's just getting top of the leaders. He's going to go a lap down. But he's only one lap down. It is okay for him. If by chance we see any potential chance of a safety car, seeing that we haven't seen a safety car once through 3 weeks, he'd be the only car one lap down. But we do have a comment in chat. Carson's not here this week. I guess he's been busy, you know, personal life, not been able to come out here and run. But Carson's not here this week, so let's go ahead and keep that to ourselves. We're back out front. Depo and Turco, it's been about the same distance. We get really close there through turn 3. Nothing really is able to come from it for Turco. But in turn 4, Happy Day Rouch corner. About the same distance, getting a tiny bit there for Turcoat. As a couple drivers do have issues, I think Roundbush might be slowing down and let him tap by. He's one of those drivers. Had issue. Costellova had issue. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here real quick. See what happened to him. And it's the same spot he's had issues all night long. Runs wide, gets into the gravel pit there. Just going to be just a 1x for him there situation. Doesn't go around, doesn't get any damage to the car. Around Bush looks like, yeah, he's slowing down for the oncoming attacks and letting him by here to relinquish his lap to. Luke Carbonell is currently in chat. He says it's really sad to miss this one. Really sad not to see you out here competing with these guys. Your two teammates at SFPV are currently putting on a pretty interesting battle here. They've been able to pull away from 3rd place using some of the draft and whatnot, but Turco's not been really able to complete a pass on Depo yet. Maybe when it comes to pit stops here in the next couple of laps, give or take. Some strategy to be played here for Turco in this first stop to potentially get him out in front of Japo. It really does. It really sucks not to see you out here this weekend. Yes, looks like the Poe had a pretty good run off there. What Turco can do. Return 9-10 here, off of 10 or 10. 25 minutes through this 120-minute race. Real life stuff does come before sim world, so going out there, partaking in your tennis tournament, I hope you have good luck in that tennis tournament. But real life becomes for some stuff, so hopefully you have fun, success in your tennis tournament, Luke. We'll see you back out here next week. I believe at Watkins one. Japo was able to get a decent run off of turn number 3 there this time on Turcoat. And it's really, I guess, your only close battle on track. That is a real interesting question. So far, Japo does look like he's got the car kind of to beat. I don't know if it's really like dirty or really holding Turco back. But I mean, taking a look at lap times, I mean, they've been pretty equal on lap times, probably until about this lap here. Let's see. Japo probably had a little bit of faster lap time. Let's see coming to the stripe this time. But even in their best lap time, I mean, it's 0.04 of a second. That's really the minimum distance here. And again, you did see in that lap time about 0.4 of a second was the difference between Japo and Turco. They've been pretty equal throughout this first stint in the race. It's gonna either have to be one of these two potentially gets aggressive and makes a move on each other. It's going to be aggressive pitch strategy. It's going to be one of them having to pretty much, mess up in the next hour and 33 minutes to potentially see any real difference here. The gap has widened just a tiny bit here for the first. It's able to gain a little bit of time here. That's something I'm going to have to pay a little bit. I actually have noticed that. I have noticed Turco entering a little bit deeper into turn number 1. I've also noticed him entering a little bit deeper will look to be into turn number 4 than Eric. Just been running a little bit. Breaking a little bit later into the corner, trying to carry more speed, but it doesn't look like it's really paying off corner exit for him. Not trying to get enough of a run off to potentially see if we get side by side going through 5, 6, 7, or in this situation, getting enough distance where he can potentially set up a pass going into turn number 3. It seems like, he's breaking later into the corner, it's not paying off corner exit. He's able to gain a little bit of ground here coming back. Need to turn number 3 to make a corner. Get it back down to about 0.7 of a second, half second. It's been pretty consistent gap between these two. It's actually been a pretty consistent gap throughout most of the field. Closest real gap outside of this is about about 3 seconds difference between 4th and 5th. 4th and Kevin Hash, 5th place, so right now about 3.8 seconds. Everyone else is about equal distance, 8 seconds between 3rd and 4th. I mean, a huge distance between Kluster, who's 17 seconds. After that, things are just being spread out. That's just road racing for you. We do have our first retirement of the race. Looks like Chris Gale said he's had enough. Looks like he's also left Discord for the evening. After about 12 laps, the situation he had by himself to be, I'll say it's necessary, getting loose, making contact with the wall. He had his picks off or whatnot, but he said he's had enough for his evening. And it looks like we potentially might see our first pit stop. One of the drivers left in the race. It looks like the 24 machine and Matt Klister, who's going to go ahead and bring it down pit road. Up to a scheduled pit stop. What does it look like? It looks like all 4 tires are up in the air. And take 4 tires. We'll also see the 12 machine of Paul Smith coming up pit road. Doesn't look like tires are going up on Paul Smith's machine. But it looks like pit stops are starting to happen here, as our leaders also come down pit road. Goes down pit road. Turcoat's going to go ahead and follow down pit road here. Doesn't look like a potentially running a lap further situation. We see tires up in the air on both of these machines. Looks like they're going to potentially take 4 tires. I'm going to guess most of these stops are going to be 4 tire stops. Ash for an hour. Everyone's going to come down here half an hour into the event, so it looks like potentially every half an hour we'll see a pit stop from these guys. About 20.4 second stop. Sorry, 22.4. And it looks like Turcoat did 22.2. Another second here to refresh, but he does look like he spent more time on pit road. That's completely up to you. If you want to join me up here in the booth, I can gladly pull you up into the booth. It's 100% up to you. I mean, we got an hour and a half to kill, so we do have an announcement I'm supposed to make at some point tonight. If you want to hop in Discord, I can gladly pull you up in the booth. You want to spend some time up here, give some insight to the wonderful fans watching at home. Door's open, man. You know, like told security to keep an eye on it just in case. But it looks like the security guard might have left. If you want to hop in here, you can. Well, that's pit stops for Potos. Look like he's able to gain some ground as Rodenbush is going to go ahead and let him by here through the Red Bull. I call that Red Bull corner. Just because the Red Bull signs there, which look to be about turn 8, turn 9, that part. Turcoat does look like he's gaining some ground on Drapeau. How quickly these guys are able to get some heat into those tires and see if they can start running a little bit faster lap times. They're running about 131-ish. They're coming in, so about a second off the fastest lap. Keeping notes at home. It's about half an hour, or I guess I didn't take a look at the lap count beforehand. 21 laps. It's about the total distance these guys can run. several other big gainers on any round on the pit stops here. As Raudenbusch and Kosolova both have issues, but it looks like Kosolova is just going ahead and let the leaders by here. I'm going to guess the same thing potentially for Raudenbusch. He's potentially going pit exit actually is his situation right, so Raudenbusch in turn 1 right now as we speak. Trying to take a quick look at pit stops to see if anyone did anything interesting potentially on their pit stops. Hammertat spent a minute 20 on pit road, a minute 1 in his pit box. I wonder if it looked like he was coming down pit road mighty fast there. It's looks like about a speeding penalty worth of time here, about 40 seconds longer than everyone else. Hamilton might have gotten a speeding penalty. It does cost him a bunch of ground actually on racetrack. He came in running P3s, now running P6, so he's got some work to do. But he does have what looks to be third fastest lap of the race. Let's see if he's able to mount a comeback here, get himself back into the top 3 tonight. Right now, he's slowly, made his way into the top 4. One spot outside of the podium position tonight. These are defending Iron Thunder Racing League Premier Series champion. For those of you who are interested in that information, he did finish Season 7 of the Premier Series. Season 8 of the Premier Series. As our champion, winning Kansas on strategy. So we might see some strategy out of him tonight. Because he is not the one, not mess around with strategy. But it looks like Matt Kluser, who's potentially had some issues here. Let's see if this is actually an issue. Oh yeah, it's an issue. He goes around. Heavy braking and just snaps loose on him. But it just looks like a quick little bit of a sideways situation. But able to keep it going here. Doesn't look like he has damage, but those new fresh tires he put on there are now barking at him a little bit. Probably saying, hey, get some of this heat out of me. Try to make me last for the next 23 minutes. But he did lose a bunch of ground there, though. I see Raudenbusch, he did close in on him there. So he's now got to work a little bit harder to try and gain some positions. The gap out front has increased about 1.5 seconds now. Looks like Capel on the side tires is able to cook a little bit better than Kurt Coates. As I said, Kevin Hatch has issues. This is a P3 on the racetrack. This is turn number 1. Does he actually have an issue? He does! He goes around! He's gonna make contact! No! Kevin Hatch has an issue. Turn number 1. Let's watch the replay. And if I had to guess, it's getting onto the throttle too soon. Corner exit. Pow! Into the wall. I don't know if it's a lot of damage to the machine. You can see yells. Also a pretty precarious, interesting part of the track code. And it's like need some decent contact there, but that's what we see. This is what we see with the grass on iris. We're watching the hill here. Turn up 1. Off turn 10. Up the hill. Brake. Entrance is fine. It's just corner exit. Again, this is what we see with the grass on iris. It just becomes ice. It just starts sliding. You can't really, like, prevent it. Watch it again. You just straight up slide. You see on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes, but once you get those tires complete stop, it's too late. You're just along for it. Unfortunately, fortunately, he only loses one spot. Now the question is, how long is he going to ride with the damage? Is he going to try to stick it out for the next 20 minutes? The next set of pit stops, or does he come in early in the next issue? I mean, tires are all heated up now. I mean, the front end doesn't look bad from here. The front end just looks all right. And been enough damage to potentially cause some RPM issues, some horsepower. This doesn't look bad from up here. You hate to see that running P3 at the time. It's kind of issue corner exit. Question is, you're gonna baby the tires just a little bit to see if speed out of them. Really interesting choices now for a while. I feel this is another corner exit situation. Nope, the same spot Castlewova's been having issues all night. I'll take a look at the track map so we can point it out for you. It's that turn 5 and then turn 6. So kind of what I'm calling the S, but not really an S. It's where he's been having issues. Same spot, entry to turn 6. So yeah, about 40 minutes and really made improvements on it. But lucky for Andy, he's still out here on the racetrack and has an opportunity to gain himself some points. It's double points events, it's double the race length. Right now, ballparking about 80 laps is what the current projection is. As right now, our new P3 has issues. I don't know how often I can trust this. Turn 5. Entering turn 6. Goes a little bit wide. And has the same issue Castlewova's been having tonight. Trying to break carrier speed through there. And it just goes for a slide. Gets those rear tires heated up. Hate to see it, but doesn't really lose ground track position wise. You only lose ground time wise. Goes from being about 23 seconds back to now about 28 seconds. So about 6 seconds lost, give or take, to the leaders. But Turco is closing in on Drapeau. Lap times, Turco was about 3/10 a second, which you see there. He closed in about 3/10 a second on Drapeau. Let's see about this time crossing the line and see what happens here. How much time he potentially gained. So we're approaching about halfway through this current run. That time he was a whopping 3/10 of a second. as both drivers did run even faster this current stint. A mid 30.648 for Trappola and a mid 30.689 for Turcotte. Ready to enter turn number 4, the Happy Day corner. And this is as close as it's been for a while. Oliveira trying to get something going here in the second half of the run to see potentially make a pass on him. Again, I'm thinking it's gotta be a strategy call. Somewhere, at some point in this race, a strategy call has to be made for Oliveira. Again, all race long, we see him get to about a half a second, 0.3 of a second, get right there on the back bumper of Poe. Man, not really able to do anything with it. Let's see what happens here coming off turn 10 this time, coming down the front straightaway to complete lap number 29 to start lap number 30. Looks like Poe was able to gain about 0.2 of a second there. That's not really, I guess, send a distance into turn number 1. Paul Smith had an issue. That's not Paul Smith. That way, behind. I want to actually go onto Paul Smith. It just looks like he got loose on him. One more time. Turn 4, Happy Day. It doesn't really look like... Oh! Actually something... Oh, no. Something did happen. Let's watch it here. Runs wide. Pow! That's actually the hardest hit we've seen all season! That's a very hard hit, and it looks like the grass is the same thing as done to Kevin Hash. It doesn't slow him down. It contributes to the hit. Yeah, I hate to see it. Back out front. Extra Pro, by the way, has led most of this. I want to click. Click instant. Yeah, it brings me to pulse. I don't get my turns at all. Oh, someone's around, making hard contact. And it's right in front of the leaders. I think it was Matt Klosterhuis. It was! Corner exit bites another one. I think he towed it. No! Matt towed it there. Another corner exit claims another one. As Turcotte lost a lot of time. What happened to Turcotte? Was it because Klosterhuis being there, corner exit, turn number 3? He lost a chunk of time, about 1.2 seconds. By the way, Jason Rautenbusch has pulled his Porsche behind the wall. The second retiree of the evening. He was 4 laps down. It looked like he was struggling here tonight. I saw it early on in practice, qualifying, during the session, about the same time he did. It didn't really look like he was able to complete a lap in practice. It like nothing against it. This is hard. Like road course racing is a difficult task for you. There's no nothing towards it. It just seemed like he was having issues in practice, and that issue carried over to qualifying where he wasn't going to be able to put down lap time. And you see it out here today. He was able to complete 27 laps in tonight's event. It's just like his night ended early. Which, I mean, good news for him. Unless Chris Gale comes back out here anytime in the next hour. Well, not even next hour. He has to come back out here in the next, I'd say, half an hour. 45 minutes at the latest to put 15 laps on to gain points. He's going to earn himself some points. He's currently sitting P15 in points, but he'll earn himself at least 2 points tonight. They're going out there and running as many laps as he can. Himself P10. Paul Smith looked to have problems. Again. Let's see what happens. This is Tomato Corner. Does he let Klusterhuis by? Does Klusterhuis give him a little bit of a headlight here saying, let me by? Yep. Klusterhuis does him by. Brain Klusterhuis, that is. And he's able to not really lose much ground. But now, the thing we need to talk about here is Pamitat. Bringing Pamitat, third fastest car within the race today. I have to say, he's got the third fastest lap. Second so far in 1 hour. And 50 minutes. Sorry, about the 50 minute mark, not the hour mark. 50 minute mark. And he's taking that BMW of his and starting to close in on that Mercedes. We're gonna have ourselves a potential battle of the Brandons here. The distance between Klusterhuis to Pamitat is about the same distance we have between our leader and Kirkhope. Now the question is, does Pamitat complete the pass before we get to pit stops? With pit stops, be happening here? In the next, let's take a look here. 10 laps into the run. Got about another 5-6 laps before we see pit stops. Pamitat is closing in on Klusterhuis to try to get himself back into the top 5 after what looked to be a speeding penalty on his first stop of the race. Let's see if he can actually complete that pass before the pit stop. And for those Matt Klusterhuis fans at home, it does look like he's pulled the car off the track. He'll go ahead and finish P9 tonight, earning himself, I think, 4 points for finishing P9 tonight. Another driver, take a look at our wonderful point standings yet again. Is trying to get that gap underneath the second here. Klusterhuis. Matt Klusterhuis does have 8 points in 2 starts, right? So he's trying to be, he'll score half the points he got by just going out there. He should jump Kevin Freeze. He should move himself into 9th place in the point standings after tonight. Paul Smith's behind. Paul Smith might actually jump. That's Paul Smith. Speaking of that, that's not Paul Smith, that's Kosalova. Gets into the grass there trying to let Klusterhuis by. Pamitat loses about a half a second. And we're about 6 minutes away from pit stops. And I say if you want to go ahead and grab yourself some popcorn, grab yourself a water, Probably right now. I should say that. Let's say that. The gap out front. The gap out front is now back down to about a half a second. Kirkhope has really been running some fast lap times here. Last time by a 1 minute 30.663. Brandon Pamitat's also closing the gap on Klusterhuis. He was able to get underneath a second. This is where I wish I had a NASCAR and NBC like side-by-side boxes. But my computer's not powering enough for that. We run 2 iRacing sessions, so we're gonna have to sit here and flip back and forth. We'll continue to currently focus on battle for the lead. It's about a half a second. Go ahead and grab yourself a drink. It can be alcoholic, it can be, as long as you're of age, it can be a soda, it can be some water. Go ahead and grab yourself some refreshments. Great choices. Similarly to at home. Try to make it quick though, because we'll have some back and forth we can be doing here any second now. The battle up front kind of stalls out there about the half a second mark. We'll go ahead and go back to the battle for 5th again. Pamitat is closing in on Klusterhuis. Again, it's about the same distance between Klusterhuis and Pamitat to the first and second. Was one of these drivers able to actually overcome the dirty air and whatnot to make the pass? Kirkhope, by the way, looks like he's maintaining about that 0.3 of a second gap. We'll go back up there real quick. Get some clean air going into turn number 3. So he was able to formulate a run. Turn number 4. He's right there. Then that a little bit later up braking point. He's right there. It's just, that better run off for the car in front. But he's right there entering turn number 6. Through 6 into 7. Again, stalling out through turn 8, about half a second. Now let's go back real quick as it looks like it's going to stall for another lap between Turco and Choco. The battle for 5th between Pamitat and Clifton, who is currently also stalling out that same distance. That half a second difference. They're coming into turn number 4, Happy Day. Nothing really happening between these two. Back up front. Oliver's there if he really wants to try to late break in the corner. Right a little bit wider on the track. See if he can get nose in there. He doesn't. Clean racing out front. Back to the battle for 5th as it's really closing up here. These guys are in turn 9, coming into turn number 10. Pamitat looks like he had a pretty decent turn 10. Coming up the hill, he's going to try and run to the inside and use the track as long as he could. Tucks back in behind Klusterhuis. See if he can formulate a run down the hill here, back up the hill, trying to get through turn 2 and turn into turn number 3 to see if he can make another pass. Out front, gap hasn't really changed, it's about half a second. Into turn 3, Pamitat's there, but can't really do anything with it. This is what we've seen all night. That trailing car just able to get there. Not able to do anything with it. For turn 4. has to be like 30 years or something. It's just, we're not really seeing that trailing car, that car that gets within a half a second, really break that half a second difference of trying to make a pass. Seeing it all night long with Turco and Drapeau, they could get a half a second difference. Coming through turn 9 into turn 10. See if Habitat's going to get a decent draft off of Boosters up the straightaway. Not really would run like he had last time. Pit stops look like it potentially could be starting for some drivers again. Costs lower, which by the way is about now 2 laps down the leader. Because when he comes down pit road, 37 of his race. As Habitat again, just right to the back bumper. Unlike the next gen car, it doesn't really upset him. It just, I guess you get there and you just can't really do anything with it. I bet you we go up here into turn number 1. See, again, just nothing really happening for Turco, but this is the closest he's been for a while. Does he give him a decent run through turn 2? In a tomato turn 3. No, it's just right there again. I have to try to set it up again here. As Habitat got a pretty decent run. And it looks like it. Oh, they're gonna come down pit road. Ooh. They're gonna come down pit road before the leaders do. The leaders are still on track to lead turn 5, getting ready to enter turn 6 this time. Habitat and Cluster Groups are down pit road for the second time tonight. Second of what should be 3 stops. Will we see the leaders come down pit road? They got a 34-second difference between them and third. So I need to come down pit road. There's a potential they come back out front. Proposed in pit road, so is Turco. Again, second stop of the race, hard on the brakes, getting a little bit. You look at Turco try to close the distance there. But Cluster Goose and Habitat off pit road. Habitat 7/10 of a second longer in the box this time. Does not look like he gets beat. Leaders, we're going to focus on this real quick. He's off the pit road first. He was a little bit better time. And quick look. It's like 6 cents of a second here. A little bit better. Potentially for Turco over Drapeau. Tires are down on Turco first. That's going to be a lot closer difference this time. They're almost side by side exiting pit road. They're going to exit pit road the same way they enter pit road. Again, another about a half second difference between pit stops. We are halfway through the event tonight. We made it an hour. Hopefully you did go grab yourself some refreshments because we're going to have a great action-packed last hour. We're going to have a battle for 5th. Well, for the battle for the lead. But wait for an hour to pass through. Let's play this real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. But I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It was announced earlier this afternoon in the Iron Thunder Racing League Discord by new series admin, race director, I don't know how you want to put it, but Storm Patterson, starter number 45 J-Com Machine, went ahead and announced earlier this afternoon that the 7th season of the Iron Thunder Racing League Truck Series will be starting this September. Monday night, September 11th, is when the Truck Series will begin. We're going to try to quickly get this off your screen. But there'll be a 12-race series. We're going to have 7 regular season races. I don't know if we're in an advanced type situation, but we're going to see a bunch of different tracks. You can see start at Daytona, finish the regular season at Charlotte. Then we're going to have a 5-race chase. Like an original chase format, Turco looks like he got a better run off there. But a 5-race chase format, where the winner takes it all. So we'll go back to like the original chase style. Points are going to be more. It's going to be only one stage. We're going to have a lot of interesting stuff. And not only was that announced, but we'll be able to announce here that the Iron Thunder Racing Network will be your official home of the Iron Thunder Racing League Truck Series. So September 11th, Monday night, at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, like we were live for the beginning of the GT3 series. We will have some interesting, fun action from there. If you are interested in joining, go ahead and potentially reach out to one of our 3 people in charge of the series. Sort of league owner. You can reach out to him. You can reach out to Dylan Hill, Race Control, another league admin, or you reach out to the series admin, Storm Patterson. If you're interested, entry fee is $20, and it'll be Monday nights. For those who are interested. Now back to the action on track. I just gotta get that out of the way. And it looks like Turco's got an amazing run up the hill here into turn number 3, but it looks like he had to back out of it, as it is not a preferred line entering turn 3. It looked like he had an opportunity by stick on the outside there to toe, but it doesn't look like he was able to do it. Into turn 4 again, a little bit looked like later braking point for Turco. He likes to pace for it. Still on corner exit. Also, let's go ahead and quickly go back to your battle for 5th between the Brandons. That is right there, though, and an interesting line you see for Cruiser Goose there. It's kind of like a little bit more of a defensive blocking inside there from Pimlicat. Potentially have Pimlicat make a pass on the inside. Again, both battles we've been watching on track have been at the same gap distance between the leading car and the trailing car. No one has been able to break that 0.3 of a second gap. Dirty air. I don't know if it's a 100% a true thing in this car. Well, might be affecting these cars. Potentially. I know I went to a World of Outlaws race Thursday night in real life, and they were talking about dirty air there, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dirty air in a dirt car? Oh no, Pimitat's loose! He's able to corral it, but he's going to have to gain that time he just lost there back. That'll look to be Calamity Corner most of the night tonight. That turn 6, 7, 8 part of the track. But he's going to have to rebound, pluck himself and back into that gap he was, and return to this battle. The back out front. Third coat, again, same distance. Kind of reminds me of 2020 fall Kansas. No one's really able to make a pass or get within a certain distance. But we had to talk about incidents on track. Right now, it looks like he potentially might have had an issue here. This is entering turn 3, tomato corner. Oh no! Oh no! That's a hard lick for Rittenauer. Yeah, rear chase. looked like part of his bumper flew off. That is an opportunity now for Kevin Hash to now make another interesting battle group here. Not only that, but if these two get a race, the potential 4-second gap between Blusterhoos that's like closed down. The 48-second gap between second, third, second closed down. As this is the closest we've seen Turco in a while, actually through this part of the track. They're approaching the lap car of Konsalova. Right here, make the right-hander in 9. Make the right-hander here in 10. But this is the closest we're going to see Turco Poe in a while. He's right here in the back bumper. He's going to pull out a line. He's going to be side by side up the hill to the line. But he's going to tuck back in line as the run just pretty much disappeared. Side by side there for a second. Wasn't really able to do much with it. Now let's see if he's able to do anything here, but he's going to not have the preferred line going into turn number 3. Turco, again, just gets right there, just not able to do anything with it. Unfortunately, this is really reminding me 2020 NASCAR Cup Series action from Kansas. Like, second place, so the trailing car's not really able to do anything with it. We'll see here with Kevin Hash. Does Kevin Hash potentially have any potential here to make a pass? Oh, it's right now it runs wide, turn 1. I don't think that's a slowdown penalty, which might be a 1X. Let's see if Hash can potentially overcome that half a second difference. That we've seen Turco and Habitat not really being able to overcome. Down into turn 4, the Happy Day corner. Hash is right there, about that same distance we've seen Turco and Habitat. But Rittenauer might have some pretty good damage that could actually be affecting his car. Aero disadvantage potentially. I think Rittenauer is just going to let him by. Probably realizes Hash might have the faster car. So Hash will move him up to P3. Does it pretty quick, so it doesn't let any time between him and Flusserhus. There's a new P3 on your scorecard. For those keeping track at home, Kevin Hash was able to move up to third spot. Back out front, Turco just all over Poe. He needs a good turn 9, turn 10 to potentially set him up for another passing opportunity down the front straightaway into turn 1. Question is, how long do you want to stay in that draft? I think you probably get that slingshot engaged type of situation where you get from like NASCAR 09, not really able to do anything, more of like an offensive line there from their Poe. Have to try to wait to get to turn number 3 to do anything. A little bit of late braking there for Turco. A pretty decent exit, but it's got now set up for turn number 4. Pass there. He's right there. but not able to make a pass. I try again to see if he can get a decent. It looks like he might have made a little bit of a mistake there. Here's an opportunity for Turcotte. Coming into turn 10. Turcotte runs wide. Have to be careful because that could be a slowdown penalty. And he loses time on Poe. Right now, there's only about a second off the gap between him and Cash. So I don't think his car is truly that bad. I think he might be okay. Might be able to wait another 15 minutes here to come back down pit road and potentially take his quick hits. Him attack. It's around trouble! Turn 6, 7, 8 claims another victim. This time he just goes for a slide, heats up some tires, and now gonna have to see the next 15 minutes thinking, dang, I just went too hard. Let's watch replay. Again, I think he's just carrying too much speed. Trying to carry too much speed, trying to brake real quick while you're turning, he just causes these cars to loop. Luckily enough, he's able to avoid contact with any wall or car. Doesn't look like he needs to use his quick fix or anything. He's just able to keep going. That's a huge momentum killer there. He was able to close about the 6-second gap he originally had. I just gotta make another 15 up. Unfortunately, both our battles we kind of were talking about. That battle for third really over and done with quick. Now the battle for fifth, we get over and done with for a minute. Maybe a little longer than that. It just really seems like some of these drivers are starting to, make a couple of mistakes. I mean, you just see Drapo there kind of make a little bit of mistake through turn 7. It really didn't cost him much, and you see him at their last lap having a shoot. Turcotte might have used his stuff up a little too soon, as Drapo has taken over the fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race does get you some bonus. Looks like Turcotte does rebound here through turn 9 and 10. Get himself a little bit closer, but again, probably not within that distance to make the pass. It's going to have to be some sort of strategy here in about 12 minutes for Turcotte to potentially make the winning move. I don't know what that strategy could be. I don't know if we could just take a tire or two. We probably have to wait on the fuel. We're going to need about 30 minutes worth of fuel to get you to the end. I want to ride on board with one of these two, but they're, again, any second one of these two can make a mistake and we'll be talking about either a new leader or having to watch the replay of second place and why he dropped back 20 seconds. I think that, the gap is really stalled out here about a second. So let's go ahead and ride on board. Hang on. Turco did, again, run deep into turn 1. So I think we'll wait a second here as he's able to make up some time in turn. Oh, not getting to the rumble strip there. That was perfectly fine with it. So it doesn't look like it's possible. As far as I know, I'm gonna go ahead and pull him up into the booth here. He said he's willing to make his way up into the booth real quick. Let me make sure.
Good evening, Alex.
Wait, hello! How are you liking the action so far tonight?
Well, you see that both teammates are really fighting hard to at least try to fight themselves for the first position, so that's really interesting to see them.
Now, I really do have a question, because I haven't really driven these cars in a race in a while. Is there dirty air in these cars that potentially stalling out Oliver for potentially making a pass for the lead?
I mean, that it's not really the same that if you're racing downforce car like an LMP or even Formula 1 car, but you gotta have a little bit of dirty air just only because the downforce that you got with this car, it's really the downforce that you're gonna have, it's really little, but the fact that it's little and you're following the car ahead of you, that's gonna penalize you because you're gonna use more the tire grip first of all, and secondly you're gonna overheat them, so you really need to be careful in choose the time that you want to attack with these cars, just only because if you still too close doing too many laps, you're gonna be penalized, not also because you're in the dirty air, but you're gonna lose the wear of your tire also at the end of the run. So I think that Olivier should just go back a little bit, like half a second, 3/4 of half a second, just to gonna be able to have a little bit more cleaner, and also it's gonna be less, he gonna put less pressure on his tire too.
Now with about them hitting here the next 8-ish minutes, do you think it'd be kind of too late to potentially save those tires now, or would it be kind of smart to try to fall back here in the next side, say half distance here to the next pit stop, so that next 4 minutes, take it easy and try to make a dash here towards about 30 minutes left in the race?
I mean, for Ash, the question is gonna be more that if it's gonna be able to go right now, and we saw right now be really got some good performance to Sebring also and Daytona earlier in the first 2 races of the season. So at that point, I think Ash, the question is gonna be, they're gonna change tire, because now with the update that Harrison put, I think that it's last October or last November, you're able now with the GT car to fuel the car and also change the tire at the same time without losing too much time. So I think Hatch is gonna put a new set of tire at the next pit stop, and the question is gonna be if the car that right now drives gonna be enough to catch Ash and also to be able to do a maneuver against him.
We haven't really seen much of a difference here out front. I mean, it's been about the same distance for a while. It's these two out front within about a half a second.
Ooh. I saw that Eric goes a little bit wide in turn 5 and 6 earlier, so that's gonna be a good question. I think that Eric now is gonna be because I know them really well. I think that the question now is, does Harris gonna be able to hold the pressure of Olivier? Because we have a joke or a call between us that the second place is the office of Eric because he's always finished second. So that's a running gag between us. But the question is, sometimes there's a running gag coming to put you a little bit more pressure. And we see again in turn one that Drapo go wide, and I think Olivier's gonna get a shot to take the lead.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen in Discord so you actually can watch what we're seeing instead of a broadcast. Watching the broadcast. Broadcast is probably a little bit behind. If I had to guess. Right there, Oliver had an opportunity there. It looked like coming up the hill there off of turn one, but it didn't really look like he was able to do much with it. As the run kind of like dissipated, stalled out, and he just had to fall back in line.
Yeah, well, I think that Drapo is more fastest in the first sector, and the last two sectors are maybe more able or more comfortable with the Ferrari. That's why we saw always Oliver just try catch again Eric, and because the BM I think that got a little bit more horsepower in the straight than the Ferrari itself. So that the question is, does Drapo is gonna manage another gap to avoid mistakes in the sector 2, or it's gonna be able to hold the pressure? That's the question that I got to Eric.
Well, I also been noticing, like what you mentioned in YouTube chat earlier, the later braking in the corner. I think that's also affecting Oliver just a tiny bit. It looks like him braking later gets him a better entrance into the corner, but it affects him corner exit. See, as there's a car around. What happened to Pamatat?
Oh, that's really not his evening.
Looked like he got caught speeding on pit road earlier. Entering turn number 4. And it just snaps loose on him.
The snap of the car in turn 4.
Right when the leaders were coming through. Luckily, didn't affect the leaders too much. They were able to keep the gap between themselves. But Pamatat's night goes from okay to now terrible within the span of 2 laps. It might get even a little bit worse here.
Yeah. And
I try to survive to the pit stop.
Oh my god! I don't know if it's voluntary of the movement that we see at the rear of the car for Pamatat.
I think the rear tires are just gone now. Got enough heat into them where he just gonna continue to try to snap loose on them. I don't think he didn't make any real contact with anything to potentially break a toe or anything. It's just I think the rear tires just have enough heat for him to potentially to snap loose. So you can see that time through turn 4 he really slowed it down.
And I think that I don't know if he changed tires the last pit stop, but the front rear seems to be really bad on his car.
It's pit stop. He was a little bit longer in his pit stall than the guy who was battling at the time. He was battling the 94 Cruiser second time, so he was a little bit longer in his pit stop. Both spending what looked to be enough time to take 4 tires. And that potentially eliminates him from a top 5 position.
Yeah, and the pit window is gonna be open. Maybe not this lap, but next time by, that's gonna be your pit window that's gonna be open for the end of the race.
Yeah, it looks like about 20 laps and about the half an hour period, it seems like these guys are about to run 19, 20 laps. Taking a current look at the current stint.
And also I'm interesting to see what Hollywood has done during the last stint is we talk about Dozier, but we need to take that in account. It's because you're following another car, and yeah, it's gonna be more hard for your tire wear on the other side, just because you're following a car, and we know that it is a track for a GT car that's really hard to make a move. So the question is, does Hollywood just save fuel behind Eric just to try to shortcut him in the pits?
I mean, he is saving fuel. There's no... I actually couldn't say 100% he saved enough to potentially make a difference. It all comes down, I think, to how quickly he get into the box. I think last stop he was able to get into the box quicker. I do believe he was able to not actually spend the same amount of time on pit road, but he was in the box 7/10 of a second less. So.
But I mean, 40-second stint, that's really not worth it to save fuel. So, because you know that you're gonna be undercut on the other way, and you need to respect the limit of the fuel range that you can put in the car. So, I think that he didn't save during the first stint, the two first stints, but the third one could be the one that is gonna really give an idea if it's been good enough to save fuel.
With pit stops are starting to happen. The 93 machine of Koslow is down pit road. The 94 machine of Klusterhus is down pit road. We've seen those two come down pit road early. Last stop. But it looks like Oliver is going to go ahead and turn down pit road. Try to get on those fresh tires sooner than Japo. Able to make a difference here that way.
So the helm lap and the house lap will be really important here.
So making sure you do not go over that 37 mile per hour speed limit. Car's up in the air, by the way, so he's taking 4 tires for sure, filling it up full of this. I guess I don't know what. But getting her full of fuel, trying to make the next 28 minutes, 44 seconds. The finish here is Habitat's really struggling here. He's bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, and he should stop now.
I think he should come on down pit road. Either get some 4 fresh tires on her. I need make a difference. There we go. We're back. More up-to-date information here. Trying to get you some more accurate reading. So when it does come down to an opportunity for Japo to come down and make his final stop of the race, key information to be pulled here is how much time he spent on pit road. Pit road there for Oliveira was 39.9 seconds, 20.7 in the box. Japo has made his way down pit road. So we'll see how much the difference is coming into pit road. About 0.6 of a second. Able to run a lap longer, so it might be able to get away with taking just a tenth less fuel.
Yep, but it's gonna also have more colored tires. So the question is, does Oliver's gonna be able to take the opportunity with some warmer tires? And I think that's gotta be side by side at the exit of the pit lane.
I think Oliveira's going to have a little bit more speed than Japo, but it's not going to be enough. Going down the hill, then back up into turn number 3. They're going to be side by side. Does Japo just give up the spot to Oliveira?
Oh,
Gonna be close racing to turn 3.
Oliver takes the turtle.
Oliver couldn't take the opportunity to grab the lead there. He's gonna have to fall back in line behind Drapeau. Well, he's not
Oh,
gonna let him go too easy here.
what a move in turn 4.
Drapeau had to take it easy through their through turn 4 there because he still has some pretty cool tires on it.
And the question now is how many incident point that Olivier's got, and also how many incident point that Eric Godrepo has. Sorry.
That's a very good thing to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of potential spots on the track to gain instant point. Usually, from turn 9, 10, there seems to be a lot of spots, especially turn 10, that exit there. If you run it just wrong, not only do you get a 1x, but you can also get a slowdown.
But I can already say that Eric take 1 at the exit of turn 9. And I can assure you that in the team channel, Eric, I think, is gonna say to Olivier, "Oh no, not again! You're not gonna let me to my office as my finish position. I'm not gonna finish again second. It's not right."
But now Eric gets an opportunity to see what Oliveira's been dealing with for about an hour and a half. Just sitting there, sitting right behind the race leader, singing that dirty air, that turbulent air. He's got to deal with it.
Yep.
Making sure you guys are not missing anything else on the racetrack. Pretty sure most other cars on track are spread out pretty decent. There's about a 4-second gap between Rittenauer and Hash, a 3-second gap between Kusikus and Rittenauer. Unfortunately, is a lap down.
They made their pit stop, right?
Yes, everyone has made their final pit stop. They just come down pit road for the last time in this race. Unless, they go around and get enough damage where they have to come down pit road. Take quick runs. Or we also can't rule out the potential for a safety car. It might be at 0.001%, but there is the potential for a safety car. Even with 7 cars on the track.
Yeah. The chance is really small, but who knows?
Well, might be taking an opportunity here, doing what you're talking about, potentially about 8-9 car lengths behind Turcotte. And save those tires for potentially a late push here with about 10 minutes to go.
He's gonna try. I think that's, if you are Godrepo, you need to act like that, not push enough. Let Turcotte just take the lead, do the lap time as he wants, and in the last 10 minutes, just keep pushing. I mean, the most important thing for Drapeau is not going over a gap of 1.5 seconds. If you're going over that, your chance is over for the last 10 minutes. So just, Turcotte just go wide here. I'm really surprised that he didn't have a slowdown.
Also looked like potentially Drapeau to clip the turtle back there and he decided to turn 10. Like he might have upset his car. But both drivers are able to keep going on here. No slowdown, no screaming over the radio because they have damage or something. Pretty much just now a game of follow the leader and see what happens here.
Yep. And of course, they didn't use their fast repair. So
I hope not. There could be a situation where it was still turned on and it could have been ran over a turtle or something where it caused a very minuscule amount of damage where did get used. I highly doubt it. There is the very, very rare chance it did get used. I'm pretty sure both of these guys have not used it.
And the result of this race, I mean, if right now Cluster House and Hash didn't, I mean, if they're finished at the position that they are at the moment, is, I mean, third, fourth, and fifth, that's gonna be a huge hit for Parmitat and his chance of championship of driver.
It is a double points race. So, I mean, it's going to be a hit on potentially making gains on Drapeau, but he might have an opportunity to come out of here. Maybe taking a look at the points, we can take a look at the points. He was 15 points behind Drapeau. There's an opportunity for him to potentially jump you in points.
Yep. Well, at the moment it's 6, so 21, 18, 15, 12, and we are 21, 18, 15, 12 for 4th. I think that's 10 for 5th. Am I right?
10th place gets, 5th place gets 10, 6th place gets 8. So he would get, if he were to finish where he's at, he would get 16 points. So it'd be enough, barely enough,
to go over Carbonell, but Oliver at the moment is gonna pass Parmitat.
So he's just pretty much gonna stand pat where he is in points.
Yeah.
It's with Oliver being 21 back, being only, pull this up again, being only 6 points behind Parmitat.
Yeah.
It'll be enough for him to at least jump up to second in points. Even more, potentially. I mean, he's currently leading the race, so he's right now staying with 42 points.
Cool. And I can give you a scoop with less than 19 minutes to go that Eric should miss the next race.
If Eric should miss, or is he going to miss?
He should race. He should miss the next race.
That new information, that could be a major implication for his championship battle. He's closing in on.
Yeah, true. You're right, Eric.
But could be a little too soon. Could it be potentially getting too much heat into those front tires?
Well, that's a rear engine, right? So, in the Ferrari, so of course it's not gonna help Olivier in turn in. So the question is, that he's gonna have enough tire wear to stay ahead of Drapeau? And also the second question is how they manage their incident points at the beginning, in the first hour and a half. So I think that both of the driver that's fighting now for the lead got a little bit more extra incident point in banks, so they should go past in pit lane for stop and go. I think that maybe Eric is maybe in a more hard position, precarious position, because I think that it was a little bit more wider in more turns than Turcotte does in the first half of the race.
Just gonna take a quick look at the schedule. I'm pretty sure the instant points were also. I mean, instant points weren't double this. I thought they were. Huh.
No, they are. The limit stayed at 30, if I'm right.
And 30 instant points is a drive-through. With them running 64 laps, I mean, that right there potentially could both. That actually could potentially be a slowdown for Oliveira. Running that wide off of turn 10.
Yeah, he really needs to starting to be careful now. Because you can sacrifice the exit of the turn 10 because the straight is not long enough with those cars to try to move. So the most important thing on this track is your exit in the turn 1 and turn 3/2, depending on how you see the racetrack. So if you get a good exit there, the chance that you're gonna be passed are really, really little.
Through turn 4, about 15 minutes remaining in the session. Gap's about 7/10 of a second. A couple of incidents potentially we can talk about. It looks like Paul Smith might have had a mistake here. Could also have been letting a lead lap car by. You see Kevin Hash in the distance there, but seems to be Calamity Corner.
Oh!
Cars do seem to be going around there a lot tonight. Trying to heavy brake turn. Try to carry as much speed as he can. Then Andy Casalova also had issues tonight and looks like he might be in his favorite part of the track as well.
Oh, Ken.
It doesn't look like there's any cars coming. Been a little bit less time sideways as well. All this also happening in front of Kevin Hash, by the way. 14-minute mark left, about, according to my timing and scoring, says roughly 10, going to about 10 to go this time.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10. Because I think now they're running at 130i, 131, 130 high, 130 low. That's between that.
I really wish I could tell you what the last lap time was, but that part of my timing screen is not currently working. The interesting night for timing and scoring on my side of things, but it looks like a little bit of a wider turn 9 there for Oliveira. Same kind of turn 10 exit.
And you need to know that part also. If you got an X at some point, and you have another X, another incident points, like 5 seconds later, that's a bug in the game. So it's just only gonna count as 1 incident points and not 2 incident points if you're going wider 2 times in 2 different corners.
I need that. Doesn't really stack up on top of each other. You don't get 2 in the span of 4 seconds.
Exactly.
Gap's now kind of maintaining out about that 1 second, potentially reaching that no-go zone for Coe. You're saying earlier, you don't want to fall outside about that 1.5 second mark. You're going to start to lose the slight draft if you get off the car in front of you. Coming to complete what looks to be their 70th lap of the race, starting lap number 71. Last time timing scoring update on my side of things. Fastest lap of the race would go to Drapo with a 1 minute 30 second. 1:30.624. Barely beating out Oliveira with a 1:30.633.
In private, Eric was a little bit mad because during his stint of 20 laps, he done a 1:33, 1:31 as best lap with the BM. And when I saw those laps, I just said, well, I know that I'm not going to race at Austria. I'm just going to try to see if I can beat your lap. And just after 3 laps, I had already done a 1:29.8, so...
Going out there showing that you're not even in a race, but you're going to put a lap time down that doesn't sound like anyone even got close to practice.
Yeah.
But he's really fallen off here in the last couple of minutes here. He's now about over that second and a half gap. Nothing you want to see if you're Defoe.
That's it's coming to be outside of the zone, so with 10 minutes to go, that's gonna be really hard for Eric unless Turcotte does mistakes or again going deep in turn 2. It's now 2 second half. That's gonna be really tough.
We try to show every incident we can. Habitat does look like he had a problem.
Oh. Too much speed in turn 5.
Calamity Corner claims another one. All these drivers gotta be approaching that 30 instant point mark. Habitat might be one of them who's actually approaching that mark.
I mean, he keep control of the car, so the last one, I don't think that was counting for 2 incident points.
Borderline. Yeah, borderline, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look at the gap between first and second. I can see it there on your screen.
It looks like it's 2.6. 2 seconds, 0.6 now.
Like it's increasing just ever so slightly.
No, it's 2.5, 2.5.
0.6 scoring to time and scoring on my side of things at that moment in time. So it might be coming a little bit too late here for Defoe to make a potential comeback. Now, without being really for sure without that, without the draft. We should be approaching about 5 to go.
Yeah.
The biggest lead we've seen of the night so far, about 2.6 seconds. Probably before this was about 1 and change earlier on in the race between Defoe and Turcotte itself. 3 seconds. Gap's really.
I know, Drapo's struggling now. It's nearly 3 seconds, and even I think it is 3.5.
Going wrong on that number 9 step. Maybe potentially just try to claw back a little too soon, use his tires up too quick, or this potentially rated fuel mileage could come back to bite him. Was out front most of the race, didn't really have much of a tracking help like we saw at Turcoat. Could he potentially have to back up just a lot more than he needs to potentially just save enough fuel to make it the next 4 laps?
I don't think the full here is a question. It's really more the aspect that, I think that he lost a lot of tire wear, and because he was driving in Audi in the first few races and you change the car, of course you not be so comfortable that if he had keep the Audi.
That's right, he did drive a different car for the first 3 races. Race 4, your car does get locked in, so after this week, points won't be going. I guess I don't really know. It's not really the manufacturer price. I think it's locked in. You have to run this car the rest of the season. For tonight, you can go ahead and, if you really want to, you could have ran 3 different cars for the first 3 weeks.
Yep.
The gap's now 3.8.
Right, so
unless Turcoat goes out there and makes a very major mistake, it's over for Turcoat. He's going to spend another week sitting in his office questioning where this one went.
Well, you're gonna be able to poke him and said, "Well, Eric, again, you finished in your office by finishing second on the podium, and I can assure you that that he's gonna laugh, but maybe it's not gonna be the greatest laugh that you're gonna hear from him."
Well, it's gonna be a real question of what went wrong this final stint.
Yep.
But
That's gonna be
Turcoat really did play it right, though. He, coming that lap before, really helped him out there. He really eliminated that 0.6 of a second he had coming through the pit stop. Eliminated that. Also got him out there, got heat to the tire, so he's able to go on the attack a lot sooner. We also did see there, Turcoat had to pretty much let his tires come up a little bit more of a temperature there. The latter part where he actually counts, trying to make a pass. That lap difference might pay off for Turcoat.
Yep. And we saw that Eric was holding up Turcoat since the beginning of the race.
That was true. It looked like Turcoat was a little bit faster. They were running about the same lap time at times. How much of that was due to the fact that Turcoat was potentially holding him up.
Yep. And that's what I told you in the chat in the first half of the race, is that Turcoat's got more the pace in endurance races. So I knew that Harris was gonna be really the greatest, not the greatest, but will be the good one in the first half, and that Olivier is just gonna be more gonna have just more consistency on his side, and that's where the strength of Olivier in an endurance races. It's at the end, in the last hour.
Oh, well, we haven't forgot the other cars on track. Kevin Hash currently sitting in a podium position in P3. Just pretty much going out there for a Sunday drive for him right now. No real cars around him. Same can kind of be said about Rittenauer. He's sitting out there. Kind of see a car off in the distance, but again, pretty much by himself in fourth. Brain Boosterhoos, he's going to have a pretty decent point stay for himself. I poked fun at him as it looked like Oliveira did have an issue there in turn one.
Yeah.
That's.
Oh. Just was a little bit too wide at the exit of turn one.
Watch it again here.
Yeah, he just keep a little bit too much speed. Didn't cover enough in angle. He didn't attack enough in angle to turn one, so he was wide and
He
hit the
wasn't the only
turbo.
one who ran wide there. DePro did run wide, but didn't really cost him much time. He actually gained about 1.2 seconds on turbo. Not enough here. Really mean anything here. As the timer should be running out here. They should be getting the white flag. Meaning that they come through turn number 9. Off into turn number 10. He's seeing the checker flag in Barney's hand. As Oliveira wins the Austrian GP. Eric DePo comes home P2. We get about a minute and change before we talk about our P3 finisher here. He's currently looks to be entering turn 4. He'll be entering turn 4 as we speak. As long as nothing goes wrong for Kevin here, he'll finish the second half of the track. He'll come home and finish P3. And some odd seconds behind him, about 7, we should be seeing that 87 machine. He's also coming. We'll be in sector 2, sector 3 here. And turn 5 through turns 6, 7. There he turned 9. And Kevin Hash off at turn number 10 will cross the line and take on the final podium position. Here comes Ray Rittenauer. He'll come home P4. And our last car in the lead last night. Great points finish for him actually tonight will be the 94 machine of Brain Boosters. I'll immediately park that thing and probably try to get out of the sim as quick as you can. As Oliveira brings it down pit road, he is your winner tonight.
Thanks, Alex, for the invitation tonight, and maybe we're gonna talk after another race next week.
Yep, there is another race next week. I want to say, I'm pretty sure we're going to Watkins Glen next week.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it'll be a 1-hour race. Same time next week. The Grand Prix in New York with the boots. We'll be running Watkins Glen with the boot. I think it's better layout anyways. So yeah, we'll be back next week for the boot. Anytime you want to join the booth is always open.
When I want driving, it's gonna be a pleasure. Take care, Alex. Good evening.
You too. Thank you for joining me up here tonight. And good luck on the rest of the season. All right, let's go over your results real quick and everything. I can actually stop streaming now. That'll make things a little bit better. Well, Oliver Turco in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo is your winner tonight. He finished about 2.2 seconds ahead of Eric Chapeau, most dominant car in the field tonight. Finished second, finishing P3 tonight. like we said earlier, was that 03 machine. Kevin Hash finished about a minute and 14 seconds behind race leader. And then we see right now our Brandon Klisterhus, Brandon Permatet, Andy Kosalova, and Paul Smith all finished race tonight. We unfortunately lost Matt Klisterhus, Jason Roundbush, Chris Gale, and Dylan Hill didn't make a lap tonight. With that being said, we got some interviews to do, and we'll go ahead and start with our race winner tonight.
And he had to.
Hello? I'm sorry, were you actually having an important conversation? Because I can get you back down there.
That's fine.
I was going to go ahead and pull you up in the booth and get your interview done here. Our race winner tonight, Oliver Turcotte.
Yeah. Pretty good win, I guess, but I'm tired.
I mean, you just got done, racing 2 hours. That seems like a pretty difficult track here in Austria.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult track, especially as it's a momentum track. It's not like you have to brake and then restart, like Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, for instance. Here, it's all about momentum, and if you just can't keep it, well, you lose half a second, a whole second on the turn. So yeah, pretty tough track indeed.
We saw most of the night tonight. You're about that half a second distance behind. But what would you take a blame to that? Would you blame dirty air? Would you blame momentum? What would you blame to spending the first hour and a half session?
Oh, no, I'm not blaming anything. Actually, that was kind of a gentleman's agreement between I and Eric, just not to pass each other for the first hour and a half, unless someone makes a blatant mistake. But aside from that, we're like, yeah, the race is 2 hours long. Let's just not do anything silly. Just keep your eyes on the race, keep your eyes on the track, and turn after turn, corner after corner. And for the last hour, for the last half an hour, then we'll race. But before that, I mean, there was just no point. That's a 2 hour race. That's endurance racing. There's just no point in racing hard for the first hour or so.
That kind of actually now makes sense. It makes sense. They're thinking back to that first hour and a half, there's opportunities, multiple opportunities, I think, if you really want to, trying to make an attempt to dive a little bit deeper into turn 3 and make a potential run at the lead on Draco. But, I know there was a gentleman's agreement between you two.
Well, we're in the same team, so.
That is true. There was some thought about that. Was tire wear also an issue, being, sitting there behind Drapeau for most of the race, that first hour and a half? Were you a little bit worried on tire wear?
Not at all. We've run some tests, and of course the tire wear was pretty bad. But as we leaned into the race and just kept going, we just realized the tire wear is not that bad, so we just could keep going and do our thing. So no, that wasn't really a problem.
Now, was it a last split-second decision there in that last stop to come a lap before Drapeau?
I wouldn't say it was a last second, but I was taking a few looks at how much fuel I had left during my third stint, and how much time there was left, and I realized like halfway through, wait a minute, I could probably do this like I could pit a lap before if I managed my things properly and maybe come out in front of him. So I tried it, and it almost didn't work. I mean, look at where he came out, and exiting turn 3, I almost lost it. So he had a shot, and then he just overshot his braking, and it didn't work. But it almost didn't work. So kudos to Eric for that, because I mean, that was pretty close, to be honest.
Before we go ahead and get you back down there, and look like you were debriefing there with Kevin Hash real quick about your race. Is there anyone you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Eric and Luke as usual for the great team we make. Also, also for the great work we do at SFTV week in, week out when we're broadcasting. Also, I'd like to thank the guys over at DJMix.ca where I do my 2 mixes a week as a DJ. So if you want to enjoy some electronic music, just go over there. And the ITRL crew and you, Alex, for the great broadcast as usual.
Congratulations on, I think it's your first win of the season.
Yeah, that's my first win. First win in a while across all series, actually.
Congratulations on actually your first win. Get yourself back in that title hunt because the double points tonight.
Well, thank you.
We'll go ahead and get you back down there with your teammates. Pull up second place. That was your race winner tonight, Oliver Turcotte. Now we get to wrong room. Invite up into the booth your P2 finisher tonight, and apparently finishing in his office. That 97 machine of Eric Pro.
Did he dare to say that?
Not only did he mention it in the broadcast chat, he actually told me to mention it in your interview here when he joined me up in the booth.
Oh boy. I mean, here's to the ITRL people thinking I'm invincible on road courses, right?
I mean, you put in a stock car, you're pretty dominant.
Well, that's a good point. Olivier never runs stock car, and every time I tried to convince him to do it, he said it didn't want to. That's a point. That's a positive, actually.
Well, did you let him know that starting September 11th, we have a truck series start?
I'll make sure to do so, but we do have busy schedules coming out in September.
That kind of sucks to hear. But anyway, let's talk about your race tonight. Now knowing that there was a gentleman's agreement between you two, I thought for a second that Oliver was having issues that first hour and a half of the race, dealing with dirty air. But now knowing there's a gentleman's agreement, were you happy you kind of stuck to that gentleman's agreement?
Right, but I mean, it's one of those things. We did the same thing at Daytona, basically, and but we know once we do that, the final stint is we go for it. And coming off that pit lane, we went for it. Almost ended up in tears, but it's one of the things. He caught me completely off guard with the undercut. I slept on that one. I did not expect it, and came off the pit side by side, and just
followed you pretty much. First 2 stops of the race, he followed you right down pit row, was right there on pit exit. Especially that second stop, he almost got to your outside there in that second stop.
Right. I mean, there was multiple opportunities he could have just passed and agreed to stay back. And in my opinion, at that point, if he had went by, I was just stuck behind, and he probably would have lost me because I knew he had very good race pace, just slightly more than I did. It's one of those tracks where we ran clean and steady for an hour and a half. I only had 3 X's by the time I took my last pit stop. Ended up with 20. Because by the time you start attacking on that course, you're all over the place. And that's mentally tough to digest, I'm not going to lie. It's a result I'm not too happy with, especially with the amount of time I took practicing this godforsaken track, but we're done with it, so that's a positive.
Now here's a question. Where did you get the majority of those, I guess, less 17X? Would you say it was in the last sector, or would you say it was in the first sector?
Last sector, mostly. I think it's... yeah, that's mostly the last 2 corners. Maybe turn 7 as well, the exit of it. I could get that. I knew Olivier took a few of those. When we were chasing each other, we kind of both took the X's at some point, but the last 2 corners were just deadly for off tracks, and the best drivers in the world proved it. Even them in Formula 1 couldn't keep it within the white lines, so it's a very tough track. It's a very technical track. Driving it for 2 hours, I'm not saying it was abusive, but I feel abused. But yeah, it's just the circumstances were tough. It's a double points race. Obviously, second place is the best result I can get other than the win. So it's got to build on that. But yeah, the second half of the season is going to be tricky, especially looking back at what's behind me.
Now, there was talk about you potentially a very slim chance of missing a race. Is that was I understanding Luke correctly, or was that just
Yeah, next week is a possible. Not to say I won't say guaranteed, but it's a possibility.
the possibility?
Right. So, and in my mind, it just makes it fair to everybody because Olivia missed one, Luke missed the big one, Luke missed the double
Right.
points race. So I think it evens it out. But even so, it's going to be a battle till the end. The last few races, I know Road Atlanta is going to be a tricky one. Road America should be very exciting. Must sport for the three of us. That's going to be Christmas before time, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be about keeping it on track. To be honest, I think what we saw at Sebring is exactly what can happen to everybody.
That's very much true. So it's potentially leading up to be a very interesting points battle, not only between you three, but there's a couple guys
Oh yeah,
sneak their way in there.
Watkins Glen, I was not the fastest car on track in practice when we did the pre-race event, so it's going to be interesting.
Should be very interesting. Now, before we let you go back down there and debrief with Oliver, and looks like Dylan's down there. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, obviously, you guys to put up the very nice broadcast for those 2 hours. We've done endurance races as well on SFTV, your sim racing reference in Quebec. So French broadcast starting in September, but we know what it feels like. It's a long way, and thanks to the ITRL for putting this up. Looking forward for the second half of the season. It's going to be very exciting.
Shall be very exciting. Congratulations on your PT finish. I hope to see your office very clean next week.
Hope so. Hopefully so. Someone else is going to be able to take that one.
We shall see. So that was our second place finisher tonight, Eric Drapeau. And it looks like Kevin Hash is in here to get his interview. Go ahead and pull him up into the booth. Let's actually turn his volume up. I had to do that to everyone else tonight. Kevin!
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your podium finish tonight.
Thank you. It did not come easy.
It did not look like that. You had at least one incident I can remember.
Yeah, kinda wadded it up into the guardrail outside of turn one, being a moron, and yeah, that definitely did not play into my benefit for tonight.
Now, you didn't have like engine damage after that hit, right? It didn't look like it was hard enough hit to cause engine damage.
Luckily not, mainly just all aero. It was really, really tight after that, and I was already struggling with a lot of understeer to begin with during that run, and it just kind of made that way worse. So I knew running Ray down at that point was going to be about impossible if he didn't, wreck himself or anything. And my main goal was try to stay ahead of Brandon Cooster, who's there, because I knew he was going to be just as fast, if not faster than me. We were staying dead even to start with, so I knew we had to at least stay in front of him to have a chance to get back up to P3.
You were able to finish P3. It also took, I guess, your teammate Ray there having kind of the same fate, just a different part of the track. More damage, actually. But you're able to finish P3. What would you think you need to have to crack the top two?
Really just the pace they had. They were able to kind of take off a lot quicker than I could. I initially thought fuel may be more of a... From the earlier testing, it seemed like I thought they were going to be running a lot quicker than they were, and I thought fuel was really going to be kind of sketchy for them, and they ended up running pretty close to the same pace through the middle of the run. I'd say definitely more fire off and a little bit more toward the middle of the run itself. I just lost so much time through it that I'd have to push so hard to stay consistent through that section that it would just kill the end of the run. So I could take off pretty good at the end once the sun went down. I was able to pull a pretty good gap on Ray and Brandon back there, but by the time I figured out what I needed to be doing, they were already almost to lap me, so it's hard to tell with the Canadians there.
So pretty much, as long as they weren't here, if they weren't here, you would have been competing for the win with everyone else.
Yeah, I might would have had a chance then. I'd have probably wrecked myself trying to run Ray back down or anyone else there at the end. I know Pamatat was really quick there for a while, and then I know he had some issues. But I would say he's probably the only other one I seen that could really hang with them. Just struggled to kind of keep the pace with them. It looked like they were able to just kind of run their own run, and you just couldn't get by them. They were just fast enough to pull away from everybody.
Well, they were also working together. They were, from my understanding, they were kind of doing like a gentleman's agreement type of situation. So they were working together there.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed too there when I'd caught up to Ray after he had his little bit of issue that the draft definitely helped a lot on those straightaways, a lot more than I initially thought. But yeah, I can definitely see that helping a lot on those straightaways.
And as soon as a car looked like it got about a second, maybe a second and a half out of the draft, it was game over.
Oh yeah, then it changes the whole balance of the car. Like you go from maybe a little bit of understeer, maybe a little bit of oversteer going in, depending on how you brake, to like the second you get clean air, it's just a whole different ballgame. I know I struggled a lot through the changes of the track too. I was running like 132s, 133s when I knew if I would have been more on my game or not been being dumb, Mike could have dropped about a second off those laps. But yeah, it was definitely a evolving track tonight for sure.
Very much was. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank for your podium finish tonight?
I'd like to thank Dylan for putting this on, showing me how far off I really am against the Canadians, and as I always joke around for Ray, anyone with a foreign name seems like they always can kill both of us, whether it's in the 24 hours of Daytona or here. Seems like we always struggle whenever they're there, but I was happy to get the Jaeger car in at least the podium here for Red Bull Ring. That way we can have technically a Jaeger bomb for third, but just Ray for the teammate, Larry for helping me out on the box, and just see if we can go into next week and maybe have a better chance at Watkins Glen.
Well, I can let you know from the rumors I'm hearing, we're going to be at least down one.
Thank goodness.
I'm not going to tell you which one of the three. It's just, I'm going to let you know the fastest one of the three is going to be.
Oh, goodness.
Well, congratulations on your P3 finish tonight, Kevin. We'll let you go back down, yell at Dylan, do whatever you need to do, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good, and thank you for putting on the broadcast.
No problem. As that was our P3 finish tonight, and Kevin Hash, I think that will do it for us. 2 hours. I really hope we never broadcast another 2-hour road race, but there's always potential for that. It was a very exciting action, actually. I shouldn't say we should never do that again. But that'll do it for this week here at the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. We'll be back next week, back stateside in New York, as long as we get across through customs. We do have a couple days of partying left over here, so gotta get through customs first. But we shall be back next Tuesday night, same time as usual, for an hour at Watkins Glen.